Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Ask Engineer. It's me, Lady Ada, the engineer with me, Mr. Lady Ada on camera control. We're here at the Adafruit factory, downtown Manhattan, broadcasting to you live from New York. SNL's coming back, but we're here every single week. You don't have to wait for a season. Also, I think I'm funnier than Kate McKinnon. Not really. Okay, we got an exciting show for you tonight. All sorts of products, news, updates, videos, guides, and more. Phil, you want to tell them what's on tonight's show?
On tonight's show, the code is iSpy. 10% off an Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. Put the code in on checkout, and you get a discount during that time. Talk about Adafruit live series shows, including Show and Tell. We had a bunch of people on Show and Tell. Time travel, look around the world of makers, hackers, artists, engineers. Big news in the maker world today, all sorts of reasons. Help wanted. Jobs from the Adafruit Jobs board. You can post your skills, or if you're looking for top talent, and everybody is now, check out jobs.adafruit.com. We'll talk about that. Main New York City factory footage. We got a 3D printing video. This is a speed up this week. That's kind of cool. We got Eye on MPI, where we show you the latest new things from DigiKey and more. But new products. We'll do some top secret. We'll answer your questions. We do that on Discord. Adafruit.ie/Discord is where we're at. You can also go to discord.gg/Adafruit. Either one of those will get you there. And as of now, join all 31,000 of us. We just hit 31,000 people. It is the biggest community server for electronics on Discord. We'll do all this stuff and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay.
All right.
Let's do this thing.
Let's do this. So in addition to there being a code,
10% off.
When you order stuff, and you can always check out what's available for free, just go to adafruit.com/free, you get
$99 or more, you get a free Permaproto half-size breadboard. It's our favorite giveaway item. $149 or more, you get a free STEM IQT sensor. We got a whole bunch of different ones still in stock. Make an account, we'll send you a different one each time. Otherwise, it's arbitrary. And $199 or more, you get free UPS ground shipping in the continental United States. We don't have Circuit Playground Expresses. We will get more in about a month or so, hopefully sooner. But as you may know, there's a silicon shortage, so things are taking a little bit longer for us to get to fab more of them.
Yeah.
But
Also, it's a very popular product.
It's a very popular product,
Yeah.
and yeah, we did sell through and gave away a bunch, but we promise we'll bring them back.
Okay. And then one other note, maybe this is helpful for people who run businesses or thinking about it. We've seen the waves of delays with the Postal Service. Sometimes it happens during certain times of the year. Sometimes lots of things happen in the last year. So they announced that they're going to have a slower service around the holidays. So we put up a blog post and more. So if
but as always, we always tell people, if you really want to give something for a holiday gift, do it soon, especially this year. Like last year, for real. But this year also, I mean, I'm still seeing the same delays. I'm actually seeing more silicon chip delays. Like we're starting to exhaust supply. And so, I'm trying my best to keep stuff in stock. But just because you see something in stock today does not mean it's going to be in stock in 2 months. It's not getting easier to get stuff.
And getting stuff shipped around, we notice stuff. So mail is a little bit slower, a little bit more error rate as far as getting the wrong mail or packages. And then sometimes it disappears and then it reappears later, and it has nothing to do with us, but just be aware, especially as we approach the holidays. My suggestion is we have UPS ground. It's trackable. It works. Gets there.
It's just
99.999% of the time.
It's just a challenge, and you'll see this across every company too, where it's not just us.
Everyone
if
has.
you're doing sea freight, you're even more behind. We do air freight most of the time.
Okay, we have a whole series of live shows, including this one.
True.
We just finished up Show and Tell. This week, I wanted to say the highlight, or just one of the folks I'm going to pick out, is Michael from Oshawa.
Yeah, he came by. It's so good to see him.
So it's the Open Open Hardware Month. ohm.oshawa.org, and you can check out all the things they have that they're doing this month on the website. And Michael talked about something they're going to announce soon, which is more open source for FPGA folks. So that's a big deal. I didn't hear that in advance. He just dropped that
boom
knowledge there. So anyways, check out the Show and Tell on your favorite video platform.
2 days away from Open Hardware Month.
Most
also
people
Halloween
watch it on
month.
YouTube. So watch our show and tell them.
Yes.
All right. Discaladiated we do every Sunday. We have 2 parts. The first one is, what are you working on?
Okay,
What were you
what
working
did
on?
I work on? Oh, I was talking about packages. Chips have the same package because I was actually designing a new board for the VL53L1X distance sensor, and it shares the same pinout and shape from the VL53L0X. But I also talked about the DPS310 matching with the BMP280, the ADXL 377 matches, or 375 matches with a 343. There's, I really like it when this happens. I think it's always a mitzvah. If you can get chips that are in the same package and pinout, you can reuse the stencil, you can reuse the PCB. Everybody's happier.
Okay. Then we do the Great Search, which is super handy now because a lot of people are looking for things.
It's actually just me during the week. So this week, this chip that I really liked, it's a plus or minus 100 or 200G accelerometer from Analog Devices. Got discontinued. I don't know if we're going to be able to get more. I wanted to get another plus or minus 100 or 200G accelerometer, and I found the ADXL 374, I think I remember. But like I said, it's pin compatible with the 343, so I can even reuse our breakout board. So that's kind of cool.
Okay. Then we have JP's product pick of the week. We do this every single Tuesday, and we have gigantic discounts. We broadcast live from the product page. You don't need to put in any code or anything. We just do it right there. So take it away, JP. This is this week's highlight from the product pick. Don't forget, every Tuesday we do these.
The product pick of the week this week is the Neomatrix 64 RGBW. So here what you're going to see, this is a rainbow display, so that's what we're used to. And then I have some stuff in the natural white. This one, actually, this is running, my monitor is making it look a little warmer to me than it is. It's really more of a neutral, natural color. So there we have some Jade color, Comet, or Chase, and here's a really nice one. This is the Pulse Sparkle. You'll see I've got this line right here. For some of the colors, I'm using RGB_white_W, and that allows me to specify just that white diode instead of lighting up red, green, and blue equally, which gives you a kind of color tinted white. It's never a great white compared to this single diode that's in there. It is the Neomatrix 64 RGBW.
Okay, tomorrow, Thursday, JP is going to be doing John Park's workshop. And then I have 2 little mini videos from JP. One just came in right before the show, so this is something he's going to show. And then the other one, it's the Prox Trinky. Is that from a guide, or is that from him, by the way?
He did
Okay.
a video for the new guide. Kat needed the guide, and JP contributed
All right.
some code.
I'm just going to play these two
Yeah,
things
yeah.
in a row. And last up, we do a segment called CircuitPython Parsec. This is this week's, but tune in tomorrow for the latest one. Here is the one from the latest show.
What I wanted to show today is how to create a little list of animated servo positions and control a servo motor using CircuitPython. So here you can see the basics of it are that I'm importing some libraries, time, so that I can pause, board for pin definitions, PWM, that's pulse width modulation, out so that we can send these signals to the servo to tell it what position to go to, and then the Adafruit motor servo library. We then set up the servo object, and I'm calling it servo A, servo.servo on my PWM out on board pin A1 is what I've plugged it into on my little feather here, at a frequency of 50 hertz. The minimum pulse duration is 500, maximum pulse is 2,375. These are values you can tune to adjust per servo to get things close to 0 and 180 degrees. Then I'm setting up this list of animation tuples, essentially, that contain a position, so 0, 90, 45, these are all degrees, and time, how long I want to dwell on those. And this is so we can do some sort of an animation. Then we have a little variable called animation pose or position, and that's which of those items in that dictionary are we using. And then the main loop of this, we set the angle variable and seconds to be that pair of numbers that come from that list. We print out the value. You can see it printing to my serial port here. Then we set the servo to that angle, so it just jumps to it immediately. I'm not doing anything fancy with easing, which I think I will for a future episode. And then we pause for that time value in seconds, and then we increment using a sort of modulo function to just loop through that list forever and ever. So you can see if I plug in the servo, it's been running this whole time, I just didn't have it plugged in. So now I'm going to plug in power, ground, and that PWM out. And now you can see my servo is going to go between those positions that I have, hang out for some various durations of time. I have it moving faster or slower, or holding longer and shorter, I should say. And then looping, so it repeats that motion. So it's a really neat way to set up a repeating animation. So that is how you can set up a list of animation positions on a servo motor inside of CircuitPython. And that is your CircuitPython parsec.
All right, and breaking news, Scott's going to be traveling, so he's not going to be doing Deep Dive with Scott this week. So you can watch
So you can watch last week's twice.
Yeah.
It's great. Lots of low-level ARM V8 Raspberry Pi development. Embedded Linux at the bare metal. People always like, I want to be the bare metal. This is it. You can look at it. Messing with an NMU. Trying to get the chip to come up. We do it. It's intense.
Okay. Time travel. All right, there's a bunch of stuff going on. First up, Adabox will be shipping in October.
We are going to sell guaranteed. I just got a note that we don't.
Yeah,
have any
we have
slots
less than 50 openings
slots.
out of the thousands and thousands and thousands that we're going to ship. We can't ship anymore. There's not enough time when we start shipping to when we need to get them. So this will be it for sure. So go to adabox.com. Maybe someone can put a link in the chats and sign up if you haven't. It's going to be super fun. Adabox is a subscription service. You get something every 3 months, and it is for sure going to be something that you're not going to be able to get anywhere because there's nothing left.
It's true.
I believe that some of these space billionaires, they were distracting us, and they took all of our natural resources and chips and left.
They're all on Mars. That's where all the expressive
No.
SAM B51s are.
It's like that. That's like V, and they're reptiles, and they eat birds.
Yeah,
all sorts of stuff.
You did show me a photo of Bezos eating an iguana, so
That's true. He did.
It's true.
Okay,
and that's
so,
what we know about.
Yeah. All right, so Colin Lob's note is every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Check it out. I picked one. This is the key ghosting one, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, this and these videos are very nice motion graphics.
Take it away, Colin.
Key ghosting occurs when certain combinations of key presses cause additional unintended presses to be registered. You can see how it happens by looking at a keyboard or keypad's internal matrix. A microcontroller powers a matrix column and determines which key is pressed by reading a matrix row's low or high voltage state. Ghosting occurs when the controller checks a row and current flows back up through a neighboring closed key switch and out through another closed switch on a different row, resulting in that incorrect ghostly input. But fear not, adding diodes to the matrix can stop current from flowing the wrong way through each switch, and subsequently busting all those ghosts.
All right, Help Wanted, jobs.adafruit.com is where you can post your skills, or you can post the type of person you're looking for a certain role. Good timing. Necklace Giant is in the chat. Hi, Necklace Giant. Was saying, do you have any consultation based on fee? Can we do that? No, we don't.
No, we don't.
But
But
in fact, we get that request so much that we decided to make jobs.adafruit.com. So
there.
Go there, and you will be able to post up what you're looking for, put in the rate and all that stuff, and should be a way to get the best folks.
yeah.
This week,
We are featuring.
yeah, Ann knows these folks, and so I featured these jobs. We check all of them out. The first one is a senior cloud infrastructure DevOps, 100% remote. They happen to be, I think, in Florida, but you could do remote. Senior front end engineer, and this is at Laudable, full time, 100% remote. And of course, it's Open Hardware Month, so we still have this job featured, and they just posted one on their site. I'll ask them to post it on our jobs board. The Open Hardware Summit Chair. Next up, it's Python on hardware time. Okay, so this week, our Circuit Python community and Discord are connected.
Yes.
We do a lot of Adafruit stuff, but in general, the Discord server that we have for Adafruit,
Yeah.
a lot of it's used for developing this language real time over the last
Yes.
few years. So we always make a big deal when we hit another milestone. And one of the things I noticed is if you keep track of things, like folks on your Discord server, if you measure something and you celebrate it, it just seems to make it happen more.
It works up. Yeah.
So 31,000 people. There happen to be 4,513 people online right now.
That's nice.
Thank you so much, everyone. 31,000 thanks. It's super cool that you're all there, and we're going to continue to keep it one of the best places online. I'm starting to notice that other places online aren't as fun, inclusive. They don't have moderators. There's it's
a free-for-all.
It's terrible.
Well, it's like
It's like watching the news. And so-
attention. People want attention, and they don't know how
Yeah.
to get it, so they get attention the
and
worst
so
ways.
I don't know. Well, I think most of online is getting worse right now. I think there's going to be more tools, and people are going to just be like, enough's enough. But I also know our communities that we're doing stuff are getting better, and I think that's the I think that's a little bit of a challenge, at least for me personally, which is
Yeah.
we do such a good job in our Adafruit communities. When you start to go and you need to go elsewhere on the internet,
Yeah.
it's like, oh no, this place
Terrible.
is terrible,
Bad.
and there's just terrible people saying
It's
you're
the
doing it
orange
wrong,
place. Yeah.
saying you're doing it wrong, saying, oh, you're making things too easy. I'll talk about that later. But anyways, thank you everybody. There's lots of ways to measure
Yes,
success.
the Discord is a nice place. We have a great group of moderators.
Yeah.
And
You can watch along and play along as we develop Python on hardware together in the Circuit Python channels. Anyways, so that's our big news in the newsletter this week. Whippersnapper official beta was released. We're going to talk about that later on in the show. Tonight we're going to play a video and more. Sound reactive glasses. We're starting to work on
in
lots
Python,
of things.
using NumPy thing, FFT conversion in Microlab.
Yeah. And then this is, starting to see some trends here. Or at least they're more visible. Lots of entities out there that are like, oh, we need to show something with this Raspberry Pi Pico. They're using CircuitPython. So this one comes from Element 14, emulating vintage ROM. Uses CircuitPython. There's the Halloween Hackfest, DigiKey, Adafruit, Hackaday. Check that out. They're giving away posters right now. I have one of the posters.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe I'll get it later
Okay.
and I'll show it. But it looks, well, actually, you know what? It kind of
It looks like this,
Yeah.
but
Well,
like on
it's
paper.
a little different.
Yeah.
But similar. And then all the rest of the news. There was this really interesting version of CircuitPython that helps with low power and.
This was just the most to Delft thing I've ever seen. Like, having met PhDs from the Dutch universities, they're really good. They're really hardcore, and they always do something like really cool, and their demos are awesome. So I'm not surprised when I saw this. I was like, yeah, this is like totally their bag, and it's always cool to see researchers using CircuitPython. There's a lot of computer scientists and engineers working on CircuitPython. We designed it for people who want to do CircuitPython as well.
Yeah. So, Open Hardware Month, EuroPython's ahead. Here is a really neat CO2 and particulate, air quality
Good.
monitor.
QT, pluggy.
Yeah, and this is really neat. Now it's in a Pelican case, so you can detect air quality and more. Just unending CircuitPython projects. This is a keyboard that specifically runs CircuitPython.
Yay.
So we're getting there. And then the last little bit of news, I think it's interesting, and it's more than just Python, but I think it shows where things are heading. So this is Blues Wireless. They announced a board today. This is called Swan. This is, they're calling it the most extensible, advanced, you name it. It's the best feather-compatible microcontroller on the market. So it's built
kind of like this kind of cool like JTAG SWD design there. And
and
millimeters.
One of the selling features for boards is works with CircuitPython.
Sometimes they're like it's for ML applications, and it looks like they designed it for their own in-house use with the STM. I'm impressed they found the STM. I can't get STMs anymore. The STM32s are not around, but 120 megahertz with 2 megabytes of RAM and 640K of flash. That's that's a lot, actually. 2 megabytes of RAM? That's a lot. That'd be great for a lot of applications.
And Fly from
Proof of concept.
Proof of concept to productions with Swan. You can see the little CircuitPython.
C++.
And then they put together a really neat video.
Oh, interesting.
And I guess I go to the blog post here.
Yeah.
They
just did the PR too.
Yeah, it's a board. You can see all the different things you can do for feathers here. Yeah, this is really neat. And,
I'm so glad I made an open standard that people can use.
Yeah, and so to me, this is just another example of if you do something open, lots of people can use it, and this is why we're seeing Feather. We had nothing to do with this.
That's like a mega power supply there. What's going on with their power supply?
And they have a and by the way, Ray Ozzie, I don't know if you'll know.
You know him, right?
Sorta.
You worked with him once or no?
Something like that.
Probably.
A million years ago. I've corresponded with Ray.
Yeah.
But one of the neat things is it has a video that came with it.
Okay.
And I'm going to show this video.
Let's show the video.
Because it's just neat to watch people do something. They have like a little CircuitPython thing. Anyways, so take it away, Blues Videos.
And thank you for doing the pull request to add support for this chip, and thank you for making a Feather compatible board. It's cool. All
right, here we go.
All right, let's watch this video.
Are your microcontrollers letting you down? Are you tired of bolting on integrated circuits and GPIO port expanders just so you can build even the simplest of projects? Are your printf debugging sessions getting boring, leaving you longing for proper step debugging like real developers have? C, C++, Arduino, CircuitPython? Can your development team ever agree on anything? Introducing Swan, one of the most advanced microcontrollers in the universe. These beautiful castellated edges provide access to 64 pins on the integrated STM32, supporting 20 communication interfaces. Skip printf. Join the modern age and step debug the Swan using VS Code. And you can copy and paste your code in any of these languages because Swan will run them all. Plus, Swan is Feather and Featherwing compatible, so you can soar to new heights with the coolest microcontroller in town. Isn't it time your MCU was as smart as you are?
Soar to new heights.
With
Feather and CircuitPython.
I'll buy that for $1. I don't know. It's cool. I love their like little fake ad. I mean, it's a real ad, but it's
Hey, it worked on me.
It worked on me.
It's like I'm gonna buy this.
I'll stock it. Sure. Okay, cool.
It's
Open Hardware Month.
It's Open Hardware time. So we went over that. It is Open Hardware Month in August.
In
Go
2
to
days.
ohm.oshwa.org. Check it out and more. I'm interested in the FPGA stuff that Michael was talking about.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to mention is this is not the first time that open source hardware was in the Wall Street Journal. I think the previous times have been the stuff a long time ago they wrote about Adafruit stuff. But this week, there is a special Halloween 2021, how to create the ultimate high-tech haunted house. And coming in at number 7, and I don't know why they're numbered, but I guess they're just like, here's 10 things. Eyes Without a Face. The monster mask from Adafruit is in there, and they have a cute little illustration that they did, and it's really neat to see stuff in the Wall Street Journal that Adafruit makes. So this is
manufactured here in New York.
Manufactured
just like
here
the Wall
in New
Street
York
Journal.
City. Maybe I don't know if they do they print it in
No, but the staff, I think they all look. It's Wall Street. We used to basically be next door to Wall Street.
We did, but
Adafruit originally was like a block away.
That's right. So another New York company, maybe showcasing a New York company. They also had the giant Home Depot skeletons in
I know,
there.
everyone's got the.
Everyone liked this.
I'm kind of waiting for post Home Depot skeleton
All right.
life.
So we also have a bunch of guides. We have 2,547.
We have a lot of guides
yeah,
this
what do we
week.
got this week?
Okay, so we've got the Proximity Trinket Guide from Kattni. Thank you for putting that together. Arduino and CircuitPython code. Isaac Welsh put together a cool all-in-one guide for SD cards. People are always trying to use SD cards or micro SD or transflash cards.
We have a gigantic chart that also looks like an SD card.
Yeah, I know. Nice work there. In classic Adafruit Blue.
Yeah, and this came out because we're looking at different cards for a future like Adafruit camera, like a CircuitPython camera, and we're like, well, there's so many cards. I tried to find like a definitive guide. There wasn't. There's like old posts from camera sites from a million years ago that now are like just filled with spam. So I'm like, oh, why don't we have a learning system? Why don't we make a good guide for folks that shows all the different types of SD and micro SD cards and why you would use some specific ones and speeds and stuff. What else we got?
Okay, cool. We've got from Melissa a twofer Raspberry Pi rotary encoder animated GIF player. So it's two ways. One is it's actually any computer can be used for it, but it uses a rotary Trinky, and you just plug it into a USB port to make like a large display that just, when you rotate it, it goes through an animated GIF, and also a miniature display with like a Pi TFT and just a direct STEMMA QT rotary encoder. So it's like two different ways to make an animated GIF that increments, when you rotate a rotary encoder, it goes forward and back. Jepler took a break from working on camera stuff and knocked out this fun little guide based on Mr. Optimizer's Bluetooth thermal printer in Arduino code. He ported it to CircuitPython. So now from within CircuitPython, you can print like really nice high resolution images to these low cost thermal printers that you can get from Amazon.
Okay.
We also have Whippersnapper came out, so we have a guide. This quick start guide has always been there. It's been there for a while, but now it's public and available. So if you want to get started with Whippersnapper, it's free for Adafruit IO users. You can have up to 2 devices and I think up to 10 sensors connected to them total, because you get 10 feeds. So check out the quick start guide. We tried to make something ridiculously easy. You don't have to open up an IDE at all. You don't have to write a line of code to get sensors connected to Adafruit IO. And of course, Adafruit IO is just MQTT, and we have webhooks, and we have email hooks, and we have all sorts of actions you can attach to your feeds. So I think this will be a really cool way for people to get sensor data into Adafruit IO, and then once it's on the internet, you can stream it to wherever you like.
Yeah, and we have a video, and then I'm gonna go over some selected feedback.
Okay.
Already.
If you've ever wanted to make IoT projects, Adafruit IO has a new way to make them easier. Welcome to Whippersnapper, Adafruit's new platform for snapping together an internet-connected electronics project without writing a single line of code. This IoT door alarm project took us minutes to build using Whippersnapper. It can even notify you when the door has been opened. To get started with Whippersnapper, you may connect up to 2 boards to a free Adafruit IO account. From the Whippersnapper device panel, you can configure and interact with your Internet of Things device. Whippersnapper has built-in support for popular Internet of Things platforms such as the ESP32, ESP32S2, SAMD51, and more. Whippersnapper lets you connect hardware running the Whippersnapper firmware to the secure Adafruit IO cloud. Adding Whippersnapper firmware to your board is simple. Follow along with the learning system guide to quickly get up and running. Once the firmware is installed, Whippersnapper will automatically detect and set up your device. From the device page, you can start adding components to your device. There's a basic set of components to get you started. These components should cover most of the common use cases in IoT projects. Whippersnapper is still in active development, so more components will be added over time. Once you've selected your component, you can give it a name and map it to a pin on your hardware. Whippersnapper automatically knows which pins are available for use for your board, so you don't need to spend time looking at its pinout. Wi-Fi boards like the MagTag feature built-in STEMMA connectors so you can plug in any compatible component like this reed switch. To get a free Adafruit IO account and start using Whippersnapper, visit io.adafruit.com/whippersnapper. We hope this inspires you to try out Whippersnapper and start making IoT projects with Adafruit IO.
Okay, and then as expected, and I have an idea for a marketing campaign, an
Okay.
advertising campaign now.
Oh, no.
So here's the idea.
Okay.
Adafruit makes something too easy. And the something is electronics, IoT, you name it, whatever.
Looking good.
whatever is really hard to do. We've
Yeah.
been trying really hard to make it easy for folks because the kind of mean people out there are saying that we're making things too easy. So I'm always going to remove the names from now on because I don't want to, dunk on someone. So I remove the name. But this is the thing that we hear like a lot in like
Yeah.
in my inbox because I get the here's feedback. It's like, well, you guys are okay, but you're making it too easy, and it should be hard. It should be
Too
terrible.
easy.
You should cut your teeth. You should suffer like I did.
I don't like cutting my teeth.
I know.
That
like-
sounds very
anyways.
painful, by the way.
So this is some of the feedback. The person couldn't even try it because we posted up this video and
Yeah.
so the bit of feedback, and I'll just zoom in and summarize.
Yes.
Basically, here it is. I can understand the need to make IoT projects postable to the masses. However, there's almost nothing to learn. Really?
Yeah.
Really? So this stuff
Yeah.
is so hard to do. It's impossible. No one's been able to do it. There's only a small group
Yeah,
of people.
because you know what's super fun is when you have a product and it creates a Wi-Fi access point, then you have to connect your Wi-Fi access point from your phone, which then of course you lose all access to everything. So then you can't get the instructions because your access point's now this device, and then you can set the Wi-Fi, and then if
Yeah.
you don't do it right, then
So-
you have to disconnect. And then like now you spent half an hour and nothing's working and you're frustrated.
Yeah.
Why not just have it work the first time?
And I'll say the places and what's starting to happen. So like, if you show something as easy to do with stuff on Twitter, there's just a bunch of people like, you should do it the hard way. Why are you doing this? Comments on some sites, it's like, oh, you're not doing. Why don't you use assembly?
Not hardcore.
Yeah, you're not.
It's not a hack.
Yeah, and the
You
thing
didn't
is,
really go to MIT.
yeah, and so the thing is, this stuff is really hard, and that's why there's only a small number of people that show it, that can do it, and a lot of folks are like, I'm too intimidated to do IoT projects and have this stuff connected. What about privacy? What about all this stuff? And so if you're one of the people who knows about this,
Good for you.
good for you. But
I'm so proud
we're
of
doing
you.
something different. And I really think everything we do at Adafruit from now on, we really need to say Adafruit makes something too easy. And if we don't hear we're making it too easy, we didn't make it easy enough yet. And so I have one other video Brent just made, and I think it's the I2C scanner.
Yes.
So I'm going to play that too. But anyways, I think if you're looking for a metric of success for something that's really important to you,
To easiness.
hopefully you'll eventually hear you're making something too easy for someone, because that's
Good.
what you want to do.
Yay.
You want to make it so easy it's not a painful experience.
Right.
Anyways, okay, so I'm going to play the video.
So we're working on adding I2C support to Adafruit Whippersnapper. So the first step is initialization of the I2C bus and scanning the bus. And we're doing this with a funhouse because the funhouse has two I2C sensors already connected to it, the DPS310 and the HT20. And then through the I2C port, I also connected two additional sensors with the stomach cable. And if we go to Whippersnapper, you'll see a new button, which is Start I2C Scan. So if we click it, it finds all four I2C devices connected to the funhouse. And if we remove the extra two externally connected devices, click Start I2C Scan, it'll show the two devices currently internally connected to the funhouse. So this button represents a lot of things. It's both a test for us to make sure that the I2C bus is working, we can communicate with devices connected to it, and it's also utility for people using Whippersnapper to double check if a sensor's plugged in or which devices are available before they go to new component and configure an I2C component.
Okay, and as someone just said in the chat, making it easy is an invitation to learn something new.
Aw.
I'm just excited.
That's nice.
Thanks, Sea River. I'm just excited that there's going to be so many people without decades of technical skills and damage doing IoT projects.
Yeah.
Like instantly. And then, of course, you'll learn more and do more, and then you're going to want to do things outside of what Whippersnapper can do. But this is to make it as easy as possible. So, anyways, full speed ahead. We got the first checkbox done, which is we made it too easy for someone.
Good.
So, go do something hard. All right, let's do some main New York City factory footage.
Sorry, to get it back into like the hole, but it even pops back up, as you can see. Alright, so I'm gonna take this out, right? This thing, you didn't get it out. Like, alright, cool. Go ahead now.
And it wouldn't be main New York City factory footage without some time lapse. This is the Disney headquarters that's being built across the street. Google just bought another giant building around here, so maybe they're going to build it and you'll see it in the background of it.
Yeah. And it's growing. It's 3 or 4 stories up now.
Yep. Okay, let's do some 3D printing. This week we had a speed up.
Okay.
And
We'll get into INPI on the other side.
I'm going to show this speed up. Let me do a little bit of caveat here. So we made this feather thing that breaks the headers off. So when we film and we have to do stuff, we have to show them lots of different things. You don't have to go this way or this way with it. You can stick your fingers in and push down. Just FYI, we know. Have to do disclaimers
We are
now.
aware.
Yeah. There's no wrong way to do it if it's helping you out. But anyways, sometimes when we film stuff, we have to show how the thing works. So anyways, take it away, Noah and Pedro. Okay, don't forget every single Wednesday, 3D Hangouts with Noah and Pedro. Let's, I'm going to just read one other thing that just came into the chat, because this is a theme. I think we can do this. This whole idea of keeping people out because we made things too hard, that has to end. So this is a neat thing. This person says, I have a PhD in computer science and I think accessibility to technology is important. About a decade ago, I said electronics was no longer fun because it was too hard. Like, yeah. It was like really hard. I remember when we started Make Magazine. It was so difficult, and things slowly started to get better. And now, like, this is the best time to do anything with electronics. And IoT stuff. Provided, like, I think if you take a look at our stuff first, just to get started, because it was so hard to do, and it was expensive, and it was scary, and if you went to online forums, they chased you away.
Yeah.
Literally. Okay, let's do INMPI. All right, this week INMPI is from Pocket.
Pocket.
I wanna
Pocket.
say- you say
They
Pocket, I
make
say
the
Pocket.
pocket. No, it's a pocket meter
Pocket.
because, well, I guess you could poke things with it, but
Pocket.
it fits in your pocket.
Yeah.
So I saw this on digikey.com/new, and I always love cute, adorable things. I'm a sucker for things that fit into your pocket. So they make a multimeter. They did, I think, a crowdfunding campaign, but now I think this is the second or third generation of product. This is the pocket meter, and it's like a keychain shaped sized multimeter, and it's got their thing that I think is adorable is the leads come out like I remember we used to have like Ethernet cords or whatever that or like little phone cords that would come on one of these spools, and you could pull the cables out. So it does that, and so it's nice as you don't have that like, kind of wound up bundle of cables. It actually does kind of like all slip into the body of this little large keychain size thing. Actually, let's go to the overhead now because I'll show that. I will say, by the way, I took this apart because I wanted to see what chip was used in it. So this doesn't work quite as well anymore, the thing. But believe me, it normally works quite well. I just like the spring. I kind of like a little metal piece came out.
Most
and then,
of you are not going to take these apart like we do.
Yeah, I took it apart. So there's a coin battery here, a CR2030, which is replaceable.
What chip was in it? Do you know?
It's the EFM. It's a Scilab's EFM 32BF3, I think.
Okay.
It's a Bluetooth 32-bit Cortex from Scilab's. But these are the little probes, and so you can even you grab them and you can probe things. It also does come with some nice grabby micro grabbers. So this would this I think plugs into here quite nicely, and so now you can have kind of a micro grabber, but this is optional. It comes in a case also if you like. But let's see if this works. Yeah.
Well, I remember when you showed this to me before, I was like, oh, is there like a screen? And you said there's an app. So this is basically like a little, it's almost like an AirTag, or Apple AirTag, but it's a multimeter.
Yeah, and if you don't break the spring when you press the button, it zips back quite nicely. So I broke it a little bit. But anyways, I'll show a demo in a moment.
Okay.
Anyway, so let's go back to the computer. This is what it looks like. So now you pull the leads out, and it's battery powered. And it doesn't have a screen because you're supposed to use your phone. So you download for your phone or your tablet. There's Android or iOS apps, and it actually paired very nicely. You don't have to do anything special. It just kind of is advertising, and you can pair to it. Give you little tips and hints on how to use it. And then you go straight into the modes. And so I note that because it's portrait mode, the top and bottom, it's two different screenshots. So at the top, you can see there's a multimeter, oscilloscope, and logger mode. And then at the bottom is the oscilloscope mode where you type it to acquire data. So the multimeter mode, I will say, is instantaneous. The oscilloscope mode is not, and I'll show that in a little bit. Two things is that you're like, well, okay, so there's a non-rechargeable coin cell battery. Well, how do you know when the battery's about to die? It'll actually warn you. It'll say battery low when you open up the app if the battery is getting low. How long does it last on a battery? I don't know, probably a couple dozen hours. There's no on-off switch that I can note. I think it actually, auto-offs, I guess, when it doesn't get data from the app on your phone or tablet. I didn't notice either way, like any way to turn it off. I just quit the app and it seemed to not work. And then when I opened the app again, it worked again. So it's magical. That said, the Scilab's EFM series is pretty low power. Second, there is multiple modes you can see on the side. There's, resistance and continuity and voltage and all that good stuff. And you might be also wondering, well, current mode is kind of weird. It does come with a fuse. There's a warning when you go to current mode, so you have to kind of you have to click and then click another thing, because with current mode, it's very easy to blow the internal fuse. There's a 2 amp fuse inside. So I like that they gave you a warning. I like that they tell you when the battery's low. Next step, okay, multimeter, plane mode. So this is kind of what it's most useful for. It can do temperature, resistance, AC current, DC current. I think the limit is, 60 volts DC, and then for AC, I think it's 40 volts or so. There's diode check, there's continuity, and the beep comes from your phone, of course, and there's no speaker in the device. for doing basic voltage measurements, it's instantaneous, right? Which is really nice. Or for continuity check or resistance check, you get instantaneous feedback. So it's really good for that purpose. So maybe I'll try to do a live demo. So the thing that I'm always interested in is okay. It says it's an oscilloscope. So is it an oscilloscope? Yes, technically it is. I will warn that it is not a live streaming oscilloscope, right? So it's more kind of like a data logger that can like trigger and then send chunks of data to your phone. So what you have to do is you have to press that red thing and it will sample data for you and then transmit it all back, and then you can look at it and kind of zoom in and out. It doesn't do what you would normally, what normal people think of as an oscilloscope, where it's kind of like continuous trigger mode. I still think it's very useful. I just want people to know that, you can do analog, you can do, digital, and this is me sampling an audio signal. It's perfectly useful, but it is not instant trigger, rolling trigger. It's data capture. So maybe I'll go quickly to the
let's do the
overhead, and I'll
overhead,
do-
then we'll show where it's at
do a
on the
demo.
DigiKey site.
Okay, let's try this live demo.
The
It's a little risky.
the Ion PI segment is brought to you by DigiKey and Adafruit.
Okay,
This is where we got it from.
is it in focus? Maybe?
Nope. Might want to.
Okay, that's not bad. Okay, so it says, connect to the device, and it blinks blue. And then you go into this mode. So, for example, continuity mode, that's an easy one to test. So you can remove the leads. And then, again, it doesn't normally do that, but I broke it. And then, hold on, let me make this loud. Oh, wait, sorry, that's diode. So, very
Okay, that's
annoying. But let's say I want to do temperature. So temperature reading, and then let's do voltage, and then I will...
I think this is handy just to keep in your toolbox or your bag if you have a phone,
Yeah.
because you never know when you're going to
It
need
is.
it.
It is a true pocket meter, which is unique. So let's measure this battery. Hold on. I'm getting the probes into here. Can I get my probes into there? There you go. So this battery is 3.66 volts, so that's kind of nice. I can measure. Another nice thing is because it's battery powered, it's a floating voltage. Okay, let's see, this is 3 volts, measuring the voltage on this LED, LCD. So all that stuff is pretty good. And then if you go to the oscilloscope mode, if you capture data, I'm not going to see anything because I don't have it connected. Well, maybe I'll connect it together, and then I'll get ground data. Okay. So yeah, you acquire data and then it displays it. Actually, maybe you can tap the.
When you want to tap
Can you tap the red button? Sorry.
red button,
Yeah.
tap it again.
Hold on. Yeah, this is hard to do 2 things at once. All right, try now. That's weird. Oh, you know what? I think I have to. Oh, there you go. All right, hold on. Let's try it now. Yeah, so you can see there's some signal here
Oh yeah.
that I'm getting. So, I don't know what it is exactly, but it's like some power supply signal. So, you're not going to get constant streaming data. I think eventually it would be nice if that was something that was added. I know it's tough to do, but maybe with BLE5, and maybe if it's like pre-triggering and there's enough RAM on the device, I think that's the only thing that didn't make it like, oh my God, this is the most amazing ever. But it's still very useful, and it does fit in your pocket, it does fit in your purse, and it does fit on your keychain. So for that and $100, it's a pretty good deal, and it's in stock at DigiKey.
Available in stock. You can get it on DigiKey. There's a short URL on the screen.
Yeah, I'm
And
definitely going to
there's
keep this,
the-
for sure.
Oh yeah, and then there is the part number that you can search, and we have a little bit of a short video from
Yes.
them, and we're going to play it, and we'll get to new products right after this.
Okay.
Electronics are an integral part of our everyday lives. Now there is finally a powerful measurement device that you can have with you, anytime, anywhere. Pocket Meter is the world's smallest wireless multimeter, oscilloscope, and logger. With retractable leads and Bluetooth connectivity to your smart device, Pocketmeter is the ideal device for measuring on the go. Pocketmeter is compact enough to store anywhere, so it is there for you at a moment's notice. It harnesses the power of your mobile device and displays accurate waveforms and data that can be saved and exported. Pocketmeter can be used by anyone: electricians, hobbyists, and engineers. Connect up to 4 Pocket devices to the Pocket app, so you can take multiple readings simultaneously. Pocketmeter is also ideal for students. The ability to have a multimeter, oscilloscope, and logger all in the one device means that you can easily take measurements at school, university, and from home. Pocketmeter. Measurement unleashed.
And that is this week's Ion MPI.
Yay! That was a good review.
Okay, before we go to new products, don't forget, load this up in your cart, but you want to use this code on the way out. And you also get a bunch of free stuff. Don't forget all the free things. Lots of zooming in and zooming out. You ready for new products?
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
New.
Okay, first up, we have some cables.
Yeah, you actually wanted us to carry some USB extension cables because you were like, this thing isn't far enough away because you have a USB thing over here and you want it over there. So we have 2 lengths of, it's really very plain. It's a USB extension cable, but like when you need one, you really want one. I like how slim and straightforward these are. They're good quality. They have all the pins connected through both ways, so you can reverse it. 1 meter and 2 meter.
Yep.
Very handy.
All right, next up.
Next up, we have a 18-pin FPC cable. I got these because we're actually going to be doing some more stuff with iSpy, which is why the code is iSpy. So these cables would be useful for our boards that are coming out. Again, there's a silicon and TFT shortage. So the cables came before the rest of the parts did.
Yeah.
But I can just show on the overhead. This is actually using a DF robot board because they have a connector that I'm dubbing iSpy. I don't know if they have a name for their connector.
It's a feather-shaped board, it looks like.
It's a very feather-shaped board, but it's not quite feather, and iSpy is not quite compatible with everything either. But this is, iSpy is this SPI connector that we're going to put on our TFT displays. And then when you have a board that has the same FPC connector, you can match them up, and now you have a remotely connectable display without all that wiring that normally you have to do with all the header pins. And so we have this in both 100 millimeter and 200 millimeter flex cable, and they're symmetric, so it's kind of nice. You can use it either way.
Okay. And then next up, the star of the show, besides you, Lady Ada, and all of Adafruit team, the community, the customers, everyone in chat tonight is...
Yay, AT Tiny 817 Breakout. Okay, so this is a kind of an it's a 3-in-1 board, really. So first up, it's a development platform for the AT Tiny 817. It says 8X7 because one day I might have a different chip, but it's the 817 on there right now, which is the kind of the 2nd or 3rd gen AVR chips from Microchip. So, people know the Atmega 328, famous, or the Atmega 8, the original chip, one of the original chips, or the AT Tiny 85. Well, there was a kind of a revision to that silicon to come up with a teeny AVR, mega AVR series. I don't know exactly the name of them, but it's kind of a redo. A lot of it is very compatible, but they've added some more hardware functionality, like, for example, capacitive touch natively, and single wire debug, and some good peripherals. I like the peripherals are a little bit more flexible as well. More pin muxing capabilities for all the peripherals. Like this has 2 I2C ports, right, which normally you would not get on a 50-cent part. But more importantly, originally we were using the SAMD09 for a lot of our Seesaw and STEMMA QT boards. SAMD09 is getting quite hard to get, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a lot of them for the next year. And so I thought, let's revise our boards. Instead of using the 3-volt SAMD09 Cortex M0, the AT Tiny 817 is a quite powerful board. It's 20 megahertz. It's got 8K of flash, I think a half K of RAM, a little bit of EEPROM. EEPROM's quite nice. And it runs from 3 or 5 volts, which is kind of sweet. It's a bunch of peripherals. It's very inexpensive. So this is a dev board to help me use that chip. Another nice thing, lots of analog digital converter pins, a lot of PWM pins, more than the SAMD. The SAMD, I think, only had 4 analog digital inputs, I think, muxed into the ADC, and this one has like 9. And it's got a lot of PWMs too. So it's got like a lot more flexibility, I think, on the pinout. Second, it is a Seesaw development board. So we're shipping this with Seesaw, which is our I2C to whatever protocol. So it can do PWM and analog inputs. It doesn't have a DAC. It does have a NeoPixel driver, which I'll show the demo for. Like I said, PWM output. You can access the EEPROM. You can change the I2C address. But what it's really useful for is, a lot of times you're like, I want to connect like a rotary encoder to I2C, or I want to connect a rotary encoder to something, and that's something that requires, rotary encoder or NeoPixels requires timing specific data that you really want to sub-processor it out. And so this is our sub-processor coprocessor helper that runs over I2C. And in addition, it's also got STEMMA-QT connectors on each end. So you can use it as an I2C breakout. You can use it if you want. Basically, a chip that can control a lot of GPIO and NeoPixels and PWMs. This board will do the trick. So
let's do a demo.
Let's do a demo.
This is real.
So here I've got it connected up to a QT Py board, or one of our easy to use because it's got a STEMMA-QT connector. So it's just I2C, power ground, data clock, and it's going to that board. And this is actually, again, this is right out of the box. This is the firmware it comes with it. You can wire it up to NeoPixels on any pin. It can control up to 60 NeoPixels. And then over here, this is sending I2C commands to here to drive the NeoPixels. So QT Py obviously could drive NeoPixels on its own, but what if this was a Raspberry Pi? Or it can be a computer, and you have a USB to I2C adapter. Or it can be, a Onion Pi or whatever, something that can't drive NeoPixels or doesn't want to. You want to offload all that bit banging stuff to a coprocessor. This board's a couple bucks and takes commands over I2C and does all that work for you. It can also do rotary encoders and PWM and analog inputs. So all these things that are hard for embedded Linux or computer or some microcontrollers to do, you can now offload it. So very similar to our SAMD09 board, but now with the ATtiny 817. And we'll probably also do an 8x6 board as well. The 817 is quite nice because not only does it have all these GPIO and one-wire program debug using UPDI, but it also has an internal oscillator, so you can change the speed. Again, it can do 3 or 5 volts, unlike the SAMD09. And it has hardware multiply, so I have some ideas for audio input as well.
Okay, and that is this week's new products. Okay, well, don't forget, this is a code. Use that if you want to get anything we have in stock. We're going to do questions. We do that over on Discord.
Go to the questions now.
Join us. And while we're showing some top secret, load up some questions. So here we go, top secret. I have one top secret this week, but it's okay. This week, top secret, Lady Ada, what are you working on?
Oh, I was working on that ADXL 377 replacement, and while I was there, I was like, you know what? Let's revise all our ADXL I2C or SPI boards, and so I made a STEMMA-QT board. I did not get to a lot of hardware this week. It was jam-packed.
Okay. That's our top secret.
Yeah.
All right. I will help out with some of these questions. Mm-hmm. So here we go. Let's do questions. That's how you know it's question
You can
time.
do a couple questions and get out of here.
Yeah. Okay. First up, any ETA on the SCD41 true CO2 temperature
There
sensors?
is a silicon shortage.
Yeah.
I have no control or
Here you
idea
go.
when I'm ever going to get sensors again.
Yeah, you get to.
If it's in stock, buy it. 'cause
Yeah.
I don't know when I'm getting more.
Okay. Any ETA on the Metro M7 with airlift featuring
Ditto.
the NXP? Yeah, NXP, we're not getting any.
There's silicon shortage. There's some parts I can't get for 2 years.
Okay. These wonderful small round tactile buttons are on the Feather OLED 128x64 other boards. What are they? I've been looking all over attaching pictures, so it's these.
Oh, those are KMR2s.
Okay.
That's the part number.
Okay.
It's also in the schematic.
Next up, This person is in Japan. Shipping is about $30. Yep, it'll probably cost about that because the plane has to bring it there. Is there any way to make an order or ship everything in stock? So,
No.
yeah, we don't, we don't do back orders because
Or reserve stock.
as you can see right now,
Yeah.
imagine if we did, there'd be one thing
Second
always out of stock.
shortage.
So here's my suggestion. There are some of our resellers that do back orders. Maybe check DigiKey.
Yeah, they could do that.
And you can place an order. I'm noticing a lot of websites aren't doing any type of back orders anymore.
Yes, websites that use
Because
back
they
orders have
they're
taken
not.
away that capability
And
because
so
we don't know what we're getting in
we've
stock.
always decided whatever you place an order on Adafruit, it ships.
Yes, it's in
And-
stock.
and when-
we physically own it.
And during a shortage,
Here.
if something's not going to be in stock for a year, you don't want to hold on to someone's order or the pending credit card charge, which eventually expires anyways.
Yeah.
So I hear you.
It sucks,
but
but
it
yeah.
is what it is.
It's what it is.
But I would check out resellers. Also, Switch Science in Japan carries a lot of our stuff.
Yeah, ask the distributor
and-
to stock more stuff.
And they
could do
could
it.
stock quite a bit, and they order lots of things all throughout
Yeah.
the year.
And they
So
pay
try that.
one big shipping charge.
Okay, and I think I got that. Let's see. Yeah, this isn't a question. This is more
More of a
like, yeah.
comment.
It says, yeah, the haters say you guys are making electronics too easy. You're definitely not looking at it from the right perspective. Seesaw is a great example. From what I see, you guys are learning how to do stuff, then you teach us to do the thing, and you make it better for all of, better and all learn stuff together. It's so nice. Yeah. Yeah, go figure.
Yeah.
A lot of things that when you buy Adafruit hardware, you're paying for maybe months of us going through every possible error, mistake, thing that needs to be documented, shown with it, and then you're getting the thing that just works.
Just works.
And I think that's one of the things I've seen. Some electronic companies are like, well, we'll just put out the hardware and the community will figure it out, and that doesn't ever work. Or they'll say, well, the code's on GitHub, but there's no information, there's no documentation, and there's no one actually who's will fix it or do
Yeah.
any stuff. So, anyways, I think this is all related. Okay, next up. Question. Where to go? Breaking the male pin header strips is easy, but what's the best approach to break female pin header strips?
Oh, pull out the pin right where you want it to be cut, and then cut through that pin where the
Yeah.
metal was. So you yank out the metal pin, and then you cut through it.
Okay. Would we ever stock those KMR2 switches in the shop?
Nope, get them DigiKey. You can buy them any quantity you want.
Okay. All right. Let me see what else we got going here. Folks seem to like the new chip.
Yay.
Someone says, you're curating the confusion out of the process, leaving the fun.
Oh, that's a good
Ooh,
phrase.
there's been a-
Curating
there's
the
been a lot
confusion
of-
the process. That's a
everyone-
good phrase.
Everybody's been on this tonight.
Good metaphor.
And you know what? Here, I was saying this in we have a pre-meeting before our, with our team,
Yeah.
a video meeting.
Yes.
And then we have a little bit of time, like 20 minutes, then show and tell.
Yeah.
And then we do Ask an Engineer. And I was saying, I really think that there is solutions to this, where there's this like gatekeeper world in tech, and I could fix it. It's
Yeah.
just gruesome.
Yeah.
And to get to that, it'll be pretty gruesome, because I do think you have to tell people to stop doing that.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can continue to have our community and grow it, but I really think some of these folks that are telling people they're doing it wrong and they're being mean and they're making it so people don't want to share their stuff online. I sent this to our team. There was this article. It was about why women leave Twitter, because they share something that they've built or made or done, and then they're just like, whoa, got to get out of here.
I actually liked the article because it was so not like, I don't want to say grotesque, but it's sort of like watching somebody debone an animal. They're like, oh, Twitter, and other social media, not just Twitter, and also just American culture, we really like to build people up to tear them down. Like it is our national holiday. Like I think the British
love
do
second
British do
chances.
it better than us, by the way.
Yeah.
Like they're really good at it, but we're close second.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Sorry, I did miss one. Audio project. I want to use a microcontroller, temporary mute a headphone level single for say 15 seconds, and then resume it on its own with code. Can you just wire one of the headphone wires to a microcontroller and toggle high-low to turn off the headphone signal? any components needed besides Arduino boards of your choice or whatever? How would you do that?
So this is actually extremely hard because you don't want to have anything in the path of the audio signal. So like a relay would work, but then you have a floating signal. So I mean, you could, and you know, you're going to have a pop. The right thing to do is to get a chip. There's probably chips or boards out there that are audio path switchers, and you switch. You would literally switch the audio path out, but you would have to get a dev board, something that does this specific thing, because it's an analog mux problem. You can't put a digital chip in the way.
Okay.
Not easy, and the signal level is low, and ears are incredibly sensitive to noise. It's not easy. I would try to find a ready-to-go solution to do it.
Yeah. Okay. And I think we got through all of the questions.
Cool.
And I'll say this. Thank you, everyone who participated in talking about, like, this future that we could get to where things are easier and we don't have to even remake some stuff over and over and over again.
And try Whippersnapper.
Yeah.
It's free.
One thing that I heard from First Robotics folks is a lot of the younger folks, and things are changing with this, but a lot of the younger folks, they end up building a robot, and they're building kind of the same things everyone built over and over.
Yeah.
And by the time they have the time they have to work on these things are so limited. And you know, a different approach is, you know what, for the younger folks that are just get started, why don't we have a robot platform where they're focusing on the code? Because making a power supply that works with a robot is really hard.
No, I mean, I took 6270, and it really turned me off to robotics for life. It was so traumatic.
But I think that that's one example where there's so many things that are going on with a design.
Yeah.
That if you were to try to design a robot from scratch, you're looking at servos, you're looking at motors, you're looking at wiring, you're looking at mechanical stuff, you're looking at eventually you get to code. Battery, which battery? How long does it last? How does it charge? Does it catch on fire? You know, all these things. And these kids don't have as much time, and if you don't have something for them to do for some type of accomplishment to build off of, we lose them. And I feel like that's one of the things too. Like, if you can make something so easy that you make some progress right away, even if it's just something basic,
Yeah.
that's the way to go. Because I think there's a lot of other things people can do.
Yeah.
They can watch like Disney Plus.
Yeah.
They could do other stuff besides like, oh, like I have to learn this thing.
That's the
And
competition.
It should be fun, and I think fun is like a sense of accomplishment and momentum.
Yeah.
And we're missing that in electronics and tech. Not Adafruit stuff. We're working on it.
Forward march.
But I think we can all have a louder voice with that, and maybe that'll help out.
We'd have, in addition to like the question, we have to have an exclamation point
Oh yeah.
when you're making a point.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
we'll see. Anyways.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
That is our show for tonight.
Thanks for another great
everyone.
week, everybody. It was good to hang out, chat. You can listen to our
We'll see everybody
ramblings.
next week. Special thanks to Cara behind the scenes
Thanks,
for running
Cara.
stuff at Adafruit. Thank you, everyone in the chat tonight. Great questions and comments, and everyone coming together and doing stuff. Thank
It's
you.
a community.
Thank you so much, everybody. Because the rest of the day you don't get to do this. This is
No.
other parts of the day is hard. But we'll see everybody during the week. We have some more shows ahead. Lots of cool stuff. Stay tuned to the website. Stay tuned to our social media. Stay tuned to all this stuff. Here is your moment of Zener.